What's up, heroes? Duuz-Diz-Din, back again with My Hero Academia. Previously, we saw Shoji and Koda go up against Spinner and the forces of the Paranormal Liberation Front, as well as many heteromorphs who feel as though they've been persecuted for too long and have decided that they're not gonna take it. But Shoji made it clear that if their cause wasn't right, he'd never forgive them. And as the battle raged on, Spinner was able to overwhelm Shoji and command his forces to raid the hospital where Kirigiri was being held. And while Spinner made his way to his target, the others saw what they were potentially about to do, cause the loss of innocent lives, as the hospital staff of both normal-looking humans and heteromorphs stood hand in hand, wishing to preserve life rather than destroy it. Many were shooken to the core that moment, as Spinner proceeded forward, lost in the delusion that he was finally part of a worthy cause, finally in command of his own destiny, only to notice that none of his followers were following behind him. The only person he was confronted by was none other than Present Mike, come to try to keep his friend Shirakumo from falling into enemy hands. It becomes a battle over the soul, with the question of who will win out, the friend or the beast. Join me as I find out, won't you? I actually love this cover of Kurogiri kind of fading away, leaving behind nothing but Shirakumo. I feel like it's a bit of a spoiler for what's about to happen. But it's My Hero Academia number 373. Friend. Again, feels a little like a spoiler. We pick up with Shoji continuing to fight the good fight outside, as Koda's new unlocked ability has allowed him to pin down the Paranormal Liberation Front leader, as the two remember what Present Mike had told them previously, where he said, "I'm going after Spinner at the hospital. Stay here and do whatever it takes to keep them all out." But then we see one rider come up behind Shoji, ready to crack him over the head with a weapon. Shoji notices at the last second, only for another member from the crowd to stop him. Everyone else stops seeing this, as the man looks at Shoji and says, I think maybe we're using our anger the wrong way," as those who had entered the hospital kind of got a good look at what they were doing. But the member from the Liberation Army cries out, "Do not cower! Do not halt! Follow our rep! The whole wicked system has turned a blind eye for too long. Teach them the error of their ways. Think only of the abuse you've endured." But the man continues to speak. I'm thinking really hard. I got beaten up for no good reason, and my blood boils just thinking about it. Yet, many of the people who had entered the hospital come up beside Shoji as the man continues on. "Are you going to laugh at me for being so indecisive? I got real pumped up when I heard folks talking about the call to action. They said staying silent would be siding with evil. Since the world turned its back on us, we had to turn the world upside down. I heard about a rep, our messiah." Man remembers what he asked Spinner before. "Are we doing the wrong thing here?" And Spinner just said, "Don't care," mindlessly. The man shouts out, "But the whole world? Really? What's that even mean? I couldn't bring myself to hurt the folks in that hospital." The Liberation member thinks, "That stupid octopus has become a real thorn in our side. Right when we managed to radicalize their passion into a mighty meat shield, that passion and its fervor was meant to bring about our supremacy." The man shouts, "Enough nonsense. Don't stop to think." That's what everyone has actually done. Another member of the army cries out to the crowd, "Why have you stopped? This is a revolution. March forward, bring it all crashing down." But the man says, "Was I really wrong about all this? Should I have sat at home and kept quiet?" Shoji, with tears in her eyes, says, "That feelings that made you rise up today were neither useless nor wrong. The ones who have hurt us haven't been dragged into the light yet." Another hero speaks up saying, "We heard your voices loud and clear today. Sorry for not realizing it sooner." Shoji continues on, saying, "But you never stopped thinking about all of it. You sure look like a bright and shining example to me. Let's use that light to change those who inflict harm until they find it in themselves to be ashamed of their cruelty." Rocklock thinks to himself as he sees the crowd come to a standstill, and he thinks, that fervor of theirs. All we could do to defend ourselves would fight fire with fire. He tells the heroes, let's go. They need reinforcements in the hospital. Actually, it's a tough subject because situations like this happen because there's so much inaction. When people feel like they're not represented, that nothing is done for them, they get drastic. But it's not in an effort to actually go out and hurt someone specifically. It's to show people that they're angry, they're frustrated. Something has to change. It is not a simple subject. We cut to the research wing inside the hospital. It has President Mike and Spinner are going at it. Spinner was trying to use a recording of All for One's voice to awaken Kurogiri, but Mike has blasted him, destroying the recorder as well. Spinner thinks, the recording! Without All for One or Shigaraki's voice, he won't wake up. And man, that blast, either Spinner was already just barely hanging on from his fight with Shoji, or Mike just really laid into him, because he ain't looking too good. Hell, it might have just been the overload from all of the powers. But President Mike thinks to himself, if Kurogiri's about to be taken back, I know what I gotta do. Ever since then, he hasn't budged even a little. Maybe he really is broken beyond repair. As Spinner is lying, broken on the floor, thinking, mind going all blank. Body won't obey commands. Only got this far. No one's backing me up. Can't wake up Kurogiri. He remembers when Dabi told him, so what you're saying is basically you're just an empty cosplayer. But he thinks back to when he was in his room. That whole time my heart was totally empty. All that passion got me worked up, got me to take a stand, made me think. All I wanted was to follow him until the end. Follow him until he could stand tall. I see he kept one of Shigaraki's hands. I think it was the last one he previously had. Mike goes running towards Kurogiri saying, thinking to himself, Spinner's grounded. If need be, this was the last resort, and the plan to divide and conquer. You know, Shirakuma, our pal's already lost an eye and a leg. Don't go ripping those good memories away from him too. And if you ain't Shirakuma anymore, then do us a favor and fade away and leave us the memories. But hey, if you're still our friend from back then, is he gonna wipe out Kurogiri? But Spinner, he stands back up, thinking back to Shigaraki and that simple, friendly conversation he had with him over video game. He holds Shigaraki's hand in front of Kurogiri's face, and he tells Kurogiri, you gotta save Shigaraki. As President Mike thinks of Shirakumo. And Kurogiri rises, having managed to break free because of President Mike's scream. And he says the words, I am the protector of Tomura Shigaraki. Dang. It was really hard to know who was gonna pull through in that situation. Honestly, I think this was, interestingly enough, like the best way this could have resolved. Because it didn't completely vilify the rioters. Their anger was justified. There was a reason for their anger. But having them come to the realization that the way they were going about this was like, no. This isn't right. There are innocent people in there. If we continue down this, innocent people who are already hurting are just gonna get hurt even more or worse. See, that's the thing. People don't want to be murderers, you know? You can get them riled up, rage-filled, stuff like that, but, this is coming from a place of hurt, and seeing those afraid looks on those doctors' faces of what the rioters would do, that's a terrible look to have. It shows that the people of this crowd were good people who just got pushed too far. They'd show no mercy to the heroes because it's just you heroes have failed us. But the innocent people who are hurt, to others like them who are trying to do good, it makes a lot of sense to me. But I'm really wondering, is this situation with Kurogiri, Shirakuma, just as we see it? Because I'm glad we didn't completely count out Spinner. I got what I wanted out of Spinner. This is everything I wanted out of Spinner. Spinner gave it his all. This is the moment I've waited to see from Spinner. For him to just go 150%. Do everything he possibly could to really show his worth. This was it. this was the moment. And I'm kind of glad it worked out this way. But now that Kurogiri has awoken, I think it's time for maybe President Mike to have that moment to get Shirakumo back even for a second. I'm interested to see where it goes from here on out. It didn't negate what Spinner did, but I feel that the Shirakuma thing needs to be wrapped up in a pleasant way. To go out completely with him just being Kurogiri, oh no, I have mixed feelings about the whole situation. But great art as always. It's kind of hard to say if did Spinner get hit with President Mike's scream? Is Spinner dead? Spinner took like a lot of damage here, and we've seen members of the League of Villains drop left, right, and center. Man, it'd be kind of fucked if President Mike killed Spinner. That's all I'm saying. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, but also remember to like, subscribe, bell, all that good YouTube stuff. Or don't, I ain't your daddy, but I still love you like one. But until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.